Good afternoon, all. Continuing to our series of lectures for Python, and what we have seen in the previous video was about tuples. We've already seen that how can we create a tuple, how we can concatenate it, how slicing can be done, how indexing can be done. Now we will see some more operations which can be performed on tuples. So a quick recap: we create a tuple by using a parenthesis giving the values in the tuple. We create another tuple for our programming purpose, and tuple is a sequence of values. It can have strings, integers, float, anything. So we have created two different tuples. Now the operation which we are going to see is that length of the tuple. If we want to find out that how many elements are there in the tuple, then the function len, then the operation len is used. To know the length, we simply use len and we write down the name of the tuple. In this case, it will give the length of the tuple t. So there are 3 elements. This function will print 3. Similarly, there are other operations. Like one operation is to find out the maximum value in a tuple. So if I use the function max, this function automatically computes and it tells that which is the maximum value inside the tuple. So in this case it will give 5. So let's run this program. It is already saved by some name, so it gives the output. In the first case the length is 3, and for maximum you see that the thing comes that the maximum value is 5. Now let's see what happens if instead of t we find out the maximum value for the tuple t1, which is having integer also, float also, and a string also. So let's see this thing, but before running this, let us clear this output screen so that the output becomes visible over here. A quick recap: how we make a tuple by putting parentheses, separating values by comma. We can concatenate by using a plus symbol. We can do indexing by putting a square brackets. Slicing can be done by giving a colon, and length can be computed by using this len. Maximum value can be found by using this maximum function. Now see what happens if we try to use this max function for a tuple which is having a different type of values. So it says that it is not supported between instances of a string and integer, because maximum value is to be computed for integers. So this thing will give an error. Reason being is a very specific reason that not supported for integer and string. So I'm putting this thing in comments that max cannot be used for these two things. Okay, now there is another function which is supported by tuple, that is called min. By min, what happens? Min gives the minimum value of the elements of the tuple. So if I'll run this program, the minimum value is 3. It will give the output as 3 for minimum. Now these are the 3 operations which we have seen now: length, max, and minimum. To know more about tuples, we will end this by giving you a key point in Python, that in Python whenever we write something separated by commas, it automatically becomes a tuple. Till now we have said that it should be separate, written within a parenthesis, but it is not actually the case. If I create a variable v and I give it certain values and I separate those values by simply by comma, and I find out the type of this v, you see this v will automatically become a tuple without parenthesis also. You see this v, it is becoming a tuple. If I'll print the value of v, it will come within parenthesis by default. So I run this v and I type it, and you see it comes within parenthesis. So what is there in Python is that whatever we write separated by comma is treated as a tuple by default. Okay, so the values separated by comma becomes a tuple in Python. This is one of the catch point which we expect that you all should remember. So let's solve for today. In the next video, we will be posting more operations on tuples and discussing more about tuples. Thank you.